Embracing change is not always easy, I think a film which we have, which actually raises a very good question in terms of taking this discussion forward about balancing custodianship towards what is Udaipur today, and balancing, what custodianship means towards preserving the family heritage at the same time. So Udaipur is not what it was in 1971. There's a number of initiatives which we launched, for example, City Within a City. It's received multiple awards from UN and so forth. So let me put forward a very important moment where this process really started.
I'm on the way from Bombay to Udaipur in Rajasthan on a much more personal trip. My father later moved on to become the guardian of the Maharana here. His son is now the new Maharana. In a way, it'll be like meeting a new cousin. I wonder if we'll have anything in common. Yes, I'm absolutely delighted to meet you.
What a pleasure to have you here.
It's a real honour, and thank you so much for the invitation. I know that business is different in India, and labour is cheap here, and of course, people are impelled by providing employment. But nevertheless, they've got to be employed on real jobs which actually contribute to the effectiveness of the operation. You could actually operate with a much, much lower overhead than you do. You could operate with far fewer cars. You could operate, I don't know, the band may well...
Go.
Well, I think the band commercially would probably go.
It's a shame there.
Yes. I don't dissent from that. But you see, what interests me is that it seems to me that your justification for many of these things has to be the fact that you are producing employment for your people.
Sure.
Now, in pure commercial terms,
doesn't make sense.
Bonkers.
Yeah, absolutely, it doesn't make sense.
And you'd actually produce the same employment for your people if instead of the revenue going in that way, the revenue went into, I don't know, another school or the university. And so how do you resolve this contradiction in your mind?
Well, it's not easy, but it has to be done. You can't just let go one at the cost of the other. And I'm not prepared to do it.
If I had to go through your books, and if I had to go through your staff, I reckon that on commercial grounds, your 1,000 would be down to probably somewhere between 500 and 600.
Well, I'm sure that's true, but
and you know,
for the present, I don't think I'm quite ready and prepared to.
I'm not trying to press you to, because in the first place, I know you wouldn't anyway.
No, I wouldn't.
And in the second place, because I think there is a different argument. But
yes, of course there is. I understand your argument.
You know, the different argument really relates to the relationship between you and the people of Udaipur.
Well, I'm very proud to have that sort of relationship, and if it costs a bit, so what? I think the time has come, Sir John, that one has to think very deeply about this. And we need to review the calling.
I have no doubts about the ability to solve the commercial problems. I think...
That's the easy bit.
That's right. And that you can address with all your energies and all the rest of it. And that you can get help with. But the other bit is a personal and lonely cross for you.
There is a mission, and one has to complete one's mission. And such is my approach to it.
Sir John posed tough questions for you.
I'm sure his father must have put even tougher questions to my father when he was his guardian. Yes. This is a challenge, this is a dilemma. But let me try and answer, because I'm sure a lot of people would not know the perspective from where we are coming. Just to finish off the earlier question, Professor, my father created two streams. One was a pure revenue stream, and the other stream was for discharging his moral and obligatory duties which he was doing as a Maharana, which he entrusted a public charitable trust to fund. And this he did in 1969. It's quite a long time ago that he did that. So his duties as a Maharana for fulfilling his moral obligation, his religious obligations, his philanthropic organization, his custodianship of the music and arts and cuisine, and you see that the whole bit, he entrusted that responsibility to the trust. And the trust is more or less doing that, which means to that extent the revenue stream didn't have to come out of our pocket after paying tax. And this is what Sir John is unable to understand, that this is also part of a job that we have to do. We can't just wash our hands and responsibilities away from the people with whom we have been associated in Udaipur, in the city of Udaipur since 450, 500 years and 24 generations. You don't sever ties with anyone, whether it's a business tie or a social tie or any kind of tie or relationship, just like that. So this needs to be nurtured, it needs to be cared, and that's the way my father decided to do it. As far as the business stream is concerned, it was the pure commercial investments and so on and so forth. The hotel business also falls into this stream. So this is how the two came about. In other words, I like to call it the tangible wealth and the intangible wealth. Whatever is from the foundation's point of view, the Maharana Mewar Foundation, is intangible wealth. Because we feel that we need to continue to invest in the intangible wealth. The intangible wealth in turn brings money into the economy of the city of Udaipur, for which we were at one time responsible. Today we don't have any constitutional responsibility to do so, yet as a moral, voluntarily assumed responsibility, the intangible wealth is giving that kind of a stature to Udaipur and bringing in a lot of money into the economy of Udaipur, which I feel very, very proud of and happier than what my revenue stream gives me as a way of my life.